Damon, graphic. I'll hit you with this cold, but I didn't serve in the military, but I have been traumatized. My daughter chose suicide, and she died in my arms. That bomb went off in our lives, and so uh, two things. One, I didn't recognize the level of her battle. I didn't realize that she was wrestling with that level of pain and anguish. And then subsequently, following her death, I'm in a free fall. That plane has been turned upside down, and I've been dumped out of it, and now just trying to breathe and look for things that I can do emotionally and spiritually just to restore breathing as step one. And then
Right.
put one foot in front of the other in terms of choosing to do something productive versus destructive with my life as a survivor, my wife's life as a survivor, our son's life as a survivor. So, with that backdrop, people find themselves where the bomb has exploded, not necessarily
Yeah.
an IED, but life explodes in a massive way.
Yeah.
How do you coach them
Yeah.
to look inward?
Yeah. So I'm going to just tell you right now that I think that the traumatic experience that you had far outweighs anything that I've ever experienced. I would rather take all of the war in the whole world than to be able to lose my son or daughter to suicide. Um, Many times, a lot of us feel guilty because some of us will be killed. In our friends will be killed in action, and then we come home and there's this survivor's guilt. Um, it's very, very real. Even individuals that never left the wire, they'll be back at the fire base, and it's like, oh, I was supposed to be on that convoy. For whatever reason, my buddy took that seat, and then they hit an IND, and they're all dead, and you never even left the wire. And those individuals are just messed up. They're dealing with a lot of guilt and anger and anguish. So I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to go far to experience the traumatic, trauma or whatnot. So my heart goes out to you. I will tell you that the God of the universe will never give you more than what you can handle.
Mm.
And if I were you, I don't know if I could endure it.
Right.
And so God gave you a particular strength to get through that. It's a gift. It's a spiritual gift, 100 billion%. And so looking inside you, you have to ask yourself the same question that I asked myself. All right, I'm a survivor. Now what? What am I
Mm.
called to do?
That was your test.
If I'm equipped properly by the creator and the designer of the universe, the commander, he's properly equipped me to get through these kill zones, and that's a kill zone. That's a legit kill zone that you went through. Then what must I do? I think the last time I checked with the CDC a couple years back, the second leading cause of death for adolescents at the age of 11 to 33 or something like that was suicide. This is a real epidemic in America. Suicide is not just a military issue. It's not just a first responder issue. It's not just an adolescent issue. It's a male issue. It's an American issue. It's actually a global issue. It is the leading cause of death in some countries, okay? Literally. And so what are you going to do? Well, it's what I'm doing. At SOF Missions, I struggled with suicidal ideations for many years. Through my therapy, I've realized that I struggled with that since I was a kid. Questioning my existence, questioning whether I should keep living. Well, does it really matter if I'm dead and gone?
Do I
And even
really
now,
matter?
when I, yeah, yeah. And so the idea about all of this is just what are we going to do about it? And so it's in our response to adversity is what dictates who we are and what we will become. It is our character. You want to know what that person really is like, who that man really is, who that woman really is have them go through the crucible. Then you'll see their character. You'll see who they are as individuals, because and it is then how they respond. The future, the trajectory of their life will manifest itself. For me, as SOF Missions, a lot of my buddies, acquaintances, people I serve with killed themselves because of the war. and just dealing with trauma and not being able to cope with it. And so for me, responding inwardly, saying, I can do something about it. I can make a change. I can make a positive impact. And you know what? Even though I'm just one person of 8 billion people in the whole world, I can still make an atomic impact in the world. And it begins one life at a time. And thus, the birth of SOF missions, Shield of Faith missions, where we are literally looking face to face, like two boxers, like two MMA fighters, a UFC. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, and I'm saying, you know what? It's going to be one round at a time. Win one round at a time, one person's life at a time. And before you know it, it becomes dozens, then it becomes, hundreds, and then it becomes thousands. And before you know it, you are making that nuclear effect that you're hoping, to do, and that our God in heaven, our Father in heaven, is empowering us to do. So inward, what are you going to do about it? Because crying about it, I mean, there's this law. It's like, hey, man, let your tears, mourn for the passing, for the death, and for the atrocity. Mourn, but man, don't stay there. Okay, don't stay there. Use your anger, your rage, your fuel, your tears, your depression, your anxiety. Use it all as fuel, because I'm telling you right now, you can be an unstoppable force for good. And what does it look like to save one life? Just one life at a time. The death and the passing of your daughter. What would it look like if you saved another father's daughter? Maybe 2, and then 5, and then 10, and then 20, and then 100. Then will the passing of your daughter be in vain? It's like what will it take? What will it take? Over 20 veterans take their lives every single day. How can I redeem one life? How can I make an impact? When we're dealing with this atrocity, this trauma, I can keep going on and on. I'm passionate about this, just like you, brother, but I hope that answers your question about inward. What can I do? What can I do right here, right now? Because if it's not me, then who? And if not now, then when? Right?